So, hi guys, welcome back to Gray Area. My name is Maria, and today we have a peacemaker joining us all the way from Portugal. So, thanks so much for having us. He's a flourishing artist in the bass house and tech house realm, and yeah, we're super excited to be speaking with him today. So
Hi.
yeah, so we
Hi,
love
sorry.
we love to kick things off, learning more about your initial musical background. Can you tell us what inspired you to pursue a career in music to begin with?
Okay, so my journey was kind of particularly weird because I always knew I kind of like music. So when I was around 9, 10, I received like the first like a creative MP3. It was like 256 megabytes. So it was like 14 musics, and back then I used to listen like to some Portuguese hip hop, some um, like pop music from the radio to drive when I used to drive with my parents. Um, and then I went to school. I started like going to middle school. I started to enjoying having a particular taste in heavy metal. Like Metallica, Slipknot, but also old rock, Van Halen, Guns N' Roses, uh, those oldie stuff. And it was weird because a lot of my friends, when I was like in 8th, 9th grade, they were listening to a lot of psytrance, a lot of those classic house tracks, like old tracks, like Daft Punk,
Yeah, the old school
probably a
ones.
bit, yeah, more around to, yeah, so around those things. um and I was like completely not the biggest fan of that genre. Like, okay, no, it's not organic. It doesn't have that lyric, that heaviness. Is just like pons pons, and I didn't like it. Then I went to high school, and it was kind of different there. So I had more people. I was like in a school when I had more people from surrounding places, and they had like all different tastes. Like the people that I used to hang out in school, they listened to a lot of psytrance. Then I started to enjoying a bit more.
Okay.
Then it was like around 2010 something. A friend of mine bought the Machine Micro from Native, like the beat maker. Um, and then Skrillex came out, starting making music, and that just blew me away. So I started to listen to more EDM, the dubstep, some drum and bass, some electro house. Um, but then I knew I wanted to be a DJ, but I thought, okay, there's too many DJs out there. How can I go to be
And
like the main guy, like skip in front of line and play gigs? I decided to start making music just for fun when I was like 17, 18. But then I was in like a kind of hard time in my life.
yeah.
So having kind of a rumble. So I kind of drift away, but I still had like, I always listen to new music every week. I went to a bunch of festivals seeing like my favorite artists. And then I just thought, okay, I need to make something with my life. So I went to a music school, and then the real sparkle started to flame. Like I really,
Picked it up.
yeah, exactly. I knew, okay, this is more possible than ever. So I just kept making music. Back then I was trying to go for a more minimal wave kind of
Mhm.
Boris Bridge kind of style.
Okay.
Um, but then I started making music. I was working in a supermarket. I kept doing music. And then I started joining a project here in Portugal that used to be kind of famous for a couple of years, but only in 2010. I learned a lot from that project because I had the chance to come to some big gigs, but then we were playing like dubstep, drum and bass, that kind of music. I really like it, but it was
Not for you.
yeah, I want something more groovy, more something good vibe, not
Mhm.
aggressive vibes from the parties, like everyone smiling, everyone with their glasses on, everybody feeling the vibe.
Yep.
So I kept releasing label after label. I kind of like to think that it's kind of I started with the smaller labels,
Mhm.
then bigger.
Worked
Then
it
you
out.
start to get support from some places, like things that sometimes happen now, like having support from some artists now. It's still great. I feel super grateful. But if it was like having this feedback when I started like 6 years ago, it would be like completely mind blowing. I would be like freaking out. Uh, but it's a good thing, and I think I'm still learning every day and working to get better and better and getting to the place that I had the vision.
Yeah.
When you have a
You're
vision for
definitely you're
yeah,
definitely on your way to that. So that in
exactly.
itself is great, you know. But yeah,
Yeah.
so obviously, you're from Portugal, which is like a huge electronic music country, like you were saying, like growing up, you were constantly had friends that were listening to this music. So would you say that like maybe if you weren't from, a country where electronic music was so special and all, everywhere, would you say that you would have maybe decided to go another route, or do you think you would have just like always stuck with electronic music?
Okay, so I think back then when I started enjoying, it was bigger. The like, let's say the bass scene,
Mm-hmm.
like heavy music, the bass music was bigger back then. But you always had summer festivals. We have like around 150 summer festivals from May till September,
Yeah, all over the
uh,
country, right?
all over the country, and it's a small country.
Yeah.
Uh, and I already saw I saw I went to some festivals here in Portugal that had almost the same lineups as ADC or something, but those big names usually, because our country is small, they only come during the summer.
Every now and then, yeah.
Nowadays you can only find here in Portugal, like electronic music is basically techno, mostly
Mhm.
big time techno,
Okay.
drum codes kind of thing.
Mhm.
Some more melodic techno like Pam or those kinds of guys, that Damian Lazars.
Mhm.
But I think the tech house is getting bigger because it's getting bigger outside. It's
Everywhere,
impossible not
yeah.
to get big here.
Mhm.
So the parties are getting bigger here. And one thing that it, for me now it makes sense. Sorry, this is not the word. For me, that I feel more blown away is because I never focused to release music to the Portuguese fan base, to the Portuguese cloud, because I knew they had some not the most futuristic taste. I always knew that, okay, this genre is coming here
Mhm.
soon. So, but people are still listening like to Big Room, that I think is like I'm not
Other
against
genres,
any
yeah, that were more
yeah, but
popular,
I think it's
especially in.
getting the decline.
Mhm.
But it's also great to see like big, okay, let's say the bigger DJs that we have now coming for me on my social saying, oh bro, I love that track, I played, and trying to arrange to do sessions with me. That's great, because when I was younger I used to saw those guys on TV playing for
Yeah.
TV parties and
Those-
celebrity parties,
Mhm.
and now they want to like ask me
Yeah, feature your
to,
tracks on, yeah, on your.
yeah, and they're being like kind of, okay, let's arrange a studio session. So you live around like 1 hour driving for me, so let's meet up next week. And okay, I'm down for everything. So everything now it's welcome.
That's
But
awesome.
I think it's on a good way, but I think it's just like the mindset. When you think you're working, you're not working enough, you know? So I come to the studio every day. I don't have a job, like I still live with my mom, but parties every week, doing masterings,
You're
like
making
small
your
parties.
goals happen. Yeah, you're making your
Yeah. So I'm kind of renting the room
yeah.
with expenses, you know.
Yeah.
But I want to evolve. I want to give like that step, and I feel proud for people that started at the same time as me and they're already accomplished massive stuff, but because they're living in the US, you know. So living in America is like completely another dimension for us Europeans, even
No.
for the Dutch, even for the Germans, because our specific genre is growing here, but it's not like a weekly thing, like good gigs like weekly or monthly that can you can live for, actually, like made a live for, like with peace, you know.
Yeah, no, definitely. But I mean, it's amazing that, you're kind of doing what you need to do to, like I said, make your dreams happen. And that in itself just says a lot about you as an artist. And I think
Exactly.
that's great. Yeah, you're definitely on your way.
Thank you. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, my next question is, well, I guess you kind of already answered it with when you first started speaking, but was there a specific moment in time that you can remember where you were just like, wow, like I love dance music, like not a specific subgenre, but just in general? Like, can you tell us more about it? Like if there's any sort of specific memory you have where you're like, wow,
Okay.
I love
This
this.
is like the best sorry. This is like, I think it's the best memory I can dig for. Like my best friend, Hugo, he also makes music, so he introduced me to the thing, and now I'm giving him sorry, the knowledge that I gather in these past years through him, you know. But it's all a matter of working every day. But the moment is like, I used to go like to his house on the weekends, like having small beers, drinking smoking
Just chilling.
cigarettes. Yeah, just chilling. Like we used to go to like an abandoned house near our place and used to take like his computer with like a shitty thing of internet, and he showed me like a Russian website where you could like download illegally tracks, and we started downloading some like weird compilations, and I started like listening to some weird guys that I never heard because I didn't knew any of them back then, because this like was like the first impact thing. Like, okay, Cascade, Skrillex, by the names I would start like, okay, Dr. P. I'll start by, okay, let's listen to these guys, and like the names would be like single bangers, everyone, every single name that I found funny or like particularly weird, I was like, okay, banger, absolutely. And I kept, okay, if this guy have this track, probably he has, like back then it was like you have to go to YouTube and then listening to YouTube like some weird sets where you couldn't even find the idea of the track because they were playing. And then you just got like the digging mode in me of searching their background, the stuff, you know.
And that's when you knew that you really like this music.
Yeah, exactly. And then some other genres came along, like a cousin of mine used to have like a bar that was like super famous in our small town. They used to do like 200 people line to get drinks in a 15-meter square place. So it's like a super small place, but they had like playing LMFAO back then. The Black Eyed Peas, the most electronic stuff. Around that age, that was also really cool. That got me I like to think that all these small connections that you made, all this small experience,
Mm-hmm.
you know, made make you yourself, your own
I agree.
taste, uh, music wise, you know.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. That's kind of like, I feel like everyone who loves this music has kind of gone through that same thing. So that's why we were curious as to
Exactly.
what your backstory was with this. So before you decided to create, house music specifically, did you, play any other instruments or even like try to compose any other type of music, or did you just dive into dance music directly?
Okay, so also from that, my best friend Hugo, I bought him a guitar, but this even older. So this was like he got the machine when we were 16.
Mm-hmm.
He sold me his guitar when we were 14 or 13, around that. I tried to, because I was still in the metal phase thing. I tried to learn, but it was super hard,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't have the flame inside. I knew it was
Yeah,
something with melody. I knew it was something with power, with something, but I didn't have the thing. Okay, but I didn't have the tools also. Like probably I had, but I had like slow internet to go to YouTube to search a tutorial. Then my English, I knew how to speak, but not actually speak, like having a full
back
conversation
then.
or understanding some words. So the length from the guitar, and I think that applied as well when I tried to make music on the Machine Micro software, was like there's a lot of things in English, so I can't. There's no Portuguese. There's Spanish, but it's not the same thing. French, I can't talk
Yeah.
because my teacher hated me back then. So I think there were like walls, in the way. Plus my personal life and my social life that was a mess back then. So I always try to refuge myself also on the music. So I also carry the headphones I had like probably 15 pairs of headphones from Skull Candy because I love the colors,
The colors.
and I still have the warranty. So a month before they got like completely broke, I went to change for a new
Get a new
ones, and
one.
I
Yeah,
kept this
those headphones
circle.
are awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. Even and back then the name came also because I also had the idea, like my main goal was to go back to arts. I used to draw, I used to make like Adobe Illustrator draws. I used to make like the draw
Mhm.
on on my school,
Just everywhere.
like whatever, like a clean paper. I used to draw, and then I like the draw. I sketch it out, I scanner, I put on Adobe Illustrator, I vectorize the thing, and then I print it out on t-shirts and things. But it was a tough market because I didn't have the capital to invest, but I had the name. I went to I kind of work like, I'm not sure how you call it, like when you're school and then they put you on a company to kind of do for a month.
I
I
know.
didn't.
I know what you're talking about. I don't know the
Yes.
for that either, but I know what you mean.
Yeah, so I work in a store that they had like the printer.
Hmm.
Um, they sell T-shirts. They do like vinyl stuff and all that. And back then, I remember there used to have like a couple small projects from my town, from electronic, that was like when the bass music hit it here, and they were going there to print the flyers. And I always tried to get like, oh, can I go to the party? And I was
Yeah.
like 15 or something, and they're like 30 and 31. They're like,
We're partying with all the 30-year-olds.
yeah, but I don't regret anything. I think it's like
Yeah.
the way it is.
So I guess it sounds like you've always been an artist in one way or another.
Yeah,
So like
yeah,
you
yeah.
said, like all these little things, experiences that you've had just kind of like led up to where you are now, but you've always had that in
Exactly,
you.
exactly. They always told me we have like an expression in Portuguese. It sounds better. It's like when they say you're an artist, but it's like in the bad way. It's like you're only doing shit or only misbehave. But I think it's
Hey, you're an artist.
yeah. I think it's like in both ways. I guess.
Yeah, that's so funny. But yeah, I guess like that kind of goes into my next question. How would you say, can you tell us more about your first actual gig? Like how, what was your first DJ performance like? How did that experience come about?
Like the first one, I could really call it a gig because of the feeling of having
Mhm.
people watching.
Okay.
Uh, I think it was like in that bar of my cousin. He opened a store. It was like the opening from a store that he had, and but mostly the people were there because the bar was always pumping.
Okay. So it was at a
So
bar in your hometown.
yeah, yeah, in a
Okay.
bar in my hometown. I didn't even know how to sing, how to the cue points from the tracks were all a mess. YouTube rips. It was a completely mess, but I was 16. That
Yeah.
was like
That was like your first like real
yeah, and seeing people when you see people,
yeah,
it's like a good sign, and
that means you're doing a good job.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But nothing comparing to the knowledge of today. That's
Of
what's
course.
funny of having that nostalgia moment of remembering of of what happened, you know.
Looking back. Yeah.
So uh yeah.
Yeah. What about, so that was like your first, like real official gig, even though, it was at a bar and you were 16, but what was your first like official gig, like either at a, like, some sort of festival or
Okay,
actually like at a venue? Like what
so
would
it was when
no,
I was sorry to
no, it's
interrupt
okay.
you. So it was when I was in that project, the Portuguese project that I was. It was like bass music. We play in kind of, it's kind of festival of the college, you know, like university. They do like the pledge from the freshmen, like a party for the pledge of the freshmen and all. I think it was something like that. It was around March, if I'm not mistaken, March. And it was like, I'm really bad with numbers, but I would say 5,000 people.
Oh wow, okay.
Okay, 5,000 people
That's a big
with,
number.
yeah, with flames and all that stuff.
It was like a
And we
real party.
yeah, there were like all the people were lit, and we did our set that was like 1 hour and a half, but you couldn't remove those 5,000 people from there. It was
Wow.
impossible. So we even played 1 more hour, but we used to play like with some masks,
Hmm.
paintball masks,
Oh, okay.
and then remove the masks and we start playing house. So that
It was a big
was a real
change
feeling. I was not playing my own tracks, but I was playing the tracks that I
that
play.
you wanted to.
So
Hmm.
yeah, you know, so having a completely reaction from the crowd that was doing mosh pits and corn circles and whatever, to having people ooh, ooh, you
Big,
know,
yeah, it's
yeah,
definitely a big
was
difference in sound.
difference, and it was that one was really cool.
Yeah. Would
uh
so at that point you knew that you wanted to just pursue house music, but you were just in that group with your
no, I
friends?
already knew.
You already
I
knew.
just
Okay.
wanted to be sure for our audience, you know,
Yeah.
for our our people.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. But so you said this was when you were how old? I'm sorry.
This was in the beginning of 2019.
Okay.
Okay, it was the big one.
A big, big one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. But Yeah, so from there, do you think like your vision has changed a little bit on like what you used to think about the other types of like subgenres?
Completely,
Yeah.
completely. That year I quit my job. Like it was like my last real job. Um, I was like a luggage boy in a hotel, so I quit to
Yeah, like a
pursue
bellman.
that. Yeah, yeah, exactly. So I quit. I quit the job. I joined that project, and then around September, October, I quit the project because for some personal differences,
Hmm.
and I went to play at ADE at Amsterdam Dance Event, and then after that I got booked to play in New Zealand. So
Mm.
that was I couldn't believe. I
Yeah, I
couldn't
was.
believe like the party actually the part it was like a really long way there. It was like 36
Oh yeah,
hours.
it's far. Yeah.
It was so much, but it was an amazing experience. I arrived there, and the guy that picked me up was the guy that booked me. And when he turned on the radio, it was like drum and bass playing, like, and I was saying, okay. I didn't said anything because I thought it was like, or just one track or something, and then another, and then house music. And I asked, bro, this is yeah, this is like our main radio. And I
Mhm.
was like, holy shit,
Yeah, and you wouldn't
this
think,
not
New Zealand is like, not many people kind of like see New Zealand that way, but the fact that they are known for
is crazy.
music is crazy.
They listen to house music and drum and bass like
Everything.
and
Mhm.
everything like heavy, like a
It blew
full
your
pack.
mind.
Exactly. I
Yeah.
got blown away. The party where I was supposed to play, I was headlining actually. It was like crazy having people, oh, can you take a picture? And I was like, sorry. Okay, let's do it.
Wow, you felt
But
famous.
yeah, a
That's
lot. But the police closed the party
aw.
before I got to play. But Matroda was playing in a club there, so I got like half an hour to play before
Okay,
him.
that's awesome though.
So
Yeah,
after him, sorry. So it was like, okay,
yeah,
that's okay. That's I
that's
take it. Yeah,
yeah,
I take it. Don't worry.
yeah.
And then I went to play to Italy in January or February, something like that.
Mhm.
And then I arrived to Portugal, and then COVID happened.
And this was
Was
all
like
20, yeah, so this was all 2019 or early
2019, yeah,
2019.
early
Okay.
2020, yeah.
Yeah, and then your performance in New Zealand, you said that was just one specific performance, or were you supposed to play at different venues?
No, it was just like
Just the
one
one.
specifically. It was like one party made for me. Like
Okay,
a
that's
random
cool.
guy came to me. Oh, I like your track on SoundCloud. So how much is to you to come here? And I was like,
Yeah.
bro,
And that's usually how it goes, right? It's all about, that's why you got to put your tracks out there and then the
exactly,
right people will reach out to you and then you end up in places like New Zealand.
exactly. That was it was blown away. But the best in the end, I think the best was even like the friends that I make,
Mhm.
the people that I met, and the all experience. I made like real friends, like people that I keep talking like every day, or even like imagine they're like 13 hours in front of us. So if a track is coming out on a Friday, I need to play it on a Thursday
On
night.
a
I ask, bro, can
Thursday.
you buy the track
Yeah.
and mail me the track, and they'll do it.
Hey, that's what
So
happens when you're an international artist.
exactly, it was like crazy. It's like I don't stop to think about these small things,
Mhm.
but they're like the most important, I think. And then the pandemic came,
Yeah,
and
unfortunately.
unfortunately, but with bad things comes good things, and
Exactly.
it was the best. Like I made a track like The Isolation that was actually number 5 viral on the Spotify back in New Zealand when they were open,
Before
because
it
they
all,
didn't
yeah,
have they didn't have COVID, so they were open, and the track reached number 5 on
that's
Spotify viral.
insane.
So that
Yeah, so it's kind of, I feel like, I guess New Zealand was kind of like a good point for you because like you had that experience there, and then even though the pandemic started, that track blew up there. So it's kind of like New
exactly.
Zealand
And
was
I
it was like a push for you.
was a real push because I was having the worst come down
Oh, of course, yeah.
ever. I was like,
The
and
pandemic.
this was, I released the track in May, if I'm not mistaken. And in May, I was like having the most come down. Okay, we are only 2 months of pandemic. I
Oh,
don't
yeah.
see an end to this.
I know, especially, people like us who love this music and love going to, shows and clubs and all of
Exactly.
that. And it's like that was taken away from us. So,
I think I think most times I go to the clubs. If I go to see some party, like someone playing that I actually like, probably I'll end up talking with someone the all night, but still
yeah,
listening to good music. It's not
music,
going to a
yeah,
club and listening to
whatever.
some reggaeton all night, you know.
Yeah. No, I get that. Yeah.
um, but was a great experience, and I can't wait for us like to come cool down. I
I
think we
know.
are getting worse now, but I think we have to deal to live with it.
With it until it's completely gone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
let's hope for the best. I just want
Yeah.
to focus now on
Music.
having more tracks coming out. I'm starting 2022, 22. So
Soon. It's in like a month, which is crazy, like month and a half.
yeah, a month and a half.
Crazy.
Whoa, this
Yeah.
year just fly, and time is flying. Like
It
time is
is.
running faster than ever.
Mm-hmm. It is.
And I'm starting the year, the first quarter, with some good releases and some collabs. So I just want to keep working, and also the holiday season are coming too. So some parties are coming. Hopefully, I'll have some good party to play New Year's Eve,
That'd
and
be great. And you're gonna be in Portugal during the next
uh, I'm
couple.
gonna be in Portugal
Okay.
until someone book me to go
That's,
outside.
yeah. Hopefully that happens in, the early next year.
Exactly. I hope so too, because I was supposed to go play in the weekend after my birthday in a party in the US, but
Mhm.
I didn't get the visa. And the guy said,
Oh,
"Okay, let's
no.
book as a tourist." And I said,
Yeah,
"Okay, I don't want to get banned. I rather do like the
yeah,
things nicely,
a good way, yeah.
because yeah,
Well,
rather than not go." But
do you mind me asking
okay,
what party it was? I'm just curious.
I'm not sure. I remember it was in a place called Springfield.
Oh, okay.
Because
Yeah,
I
that's
remember.
yeah.
I'm not sure. I know Mysteria was playing and Clank replaced me for
Mhm.
playing, but
Okay.
it's okay. It will happen.
It'll
I
happen
can
again,
feel it.
definitely. I have
Yeah.
a good feeling about 2022. So
Yeah. Same. I'm
you make
hoping
your way
for the
out here.
best.
Yeah, hopefully you make your way out to the US soon so we can all kind of see you over
Yeah.
here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because I think I really want to go to the US since
Mhm.
I was young. Like
Yeah. Have you ever, when
probably
was the last time you've been, if you have?
I never been to the
Never been.
US.
Okay, yeah, you
Never
need
been.
it.
I want to go to the US since
You
I
gotta
was
make
like
your way.
7 or 8, because I used to watch like Family Guy and Simpsons and all that,
Yeah.
those American TV shows.
Mhm.
I know, okay, I want to see how it is, you know.
Mhm. Yeah, well,
Um
your specific type of music that you make is super popular here, so
it's
you
super popular. I think it's just a
definitely,
matter of time,
yeah,
you
you'll
know.
definitely get something booked soon. I'm sure of it.
Hopefully, fingers crossed. I think it's just like keep working, better tracks, better labels, more support. I don't see any other recipe for success.
Mhm,
I
exactly.
don't think so. I think
You're
it's
on the
just like
right you're on the right track, so that's all that matters.
so for that.
Awesome. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit more about your most recent releases. I know that we were just talking about Isolation, which obviously was a tremendous track and has over 1 million Spotify plays.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's the first one I wanted to touch on, and I knew you knew that this question was coming. But how, that song talks a lot about, the pandemic, and like you said, like that come down that you had because of like, how insane the world was at the time. So like how was the creative process for that track?
Well, so that track came because I used to release I had a release before with the Nix label, that's sub label from Future House Music,
Mhm.
and they asked me for to make a collab with a guy that sent me a vocals. I really like the vocals. My friend Jim first, and the vocals were from his girlfriend, and I kind of liked the vibe, but I thought like the beat was too simple.
Mhm.
I actually had like some personal stuff coming to me as well, so I always try to refugee at a friend's place making music. So we just like sparkle a couple joints, make music. Like, okay, let's forget about the pandemic, forget about everything. Let's make
Let's just make
a
music.
really banger, a track
Yeah.
that bangs in a real festival. So I kind of like it, the vibe, but I never thought it would come like,
Would become as
yeah,
big.
it could be like this, you know?
Yeah.
So we released the track, we start getting like some good plays, some good support. And then the track was released 2 years ago. But then like the biggest support was a couple weeks ago when I saw Fatboy Slim playing the track on
Mhm.
Wembley Arena to
That,
a sea of people.
that must
And I
have
was
felt
like,
amazing.
holy, oh, oh my God. I used to listen to this track, to his tracks when I was even younger, when I didn't have
Yeah.
the music connection I had when I was like 6 or 7 or even 8 was like listening on. We used to have like a TV program on Saturdays after lunch. It was called Top Plus. It was
Mhm.
like the biggest hits from the week from any genre, like kind of good MTV
Yeah.
thing, like
Okay.
a
Yeah.
2 hour program.
Oh, I missed type of
And I used
programs.
to have what? Sorry.
That I miss those type of programs.
But God, me too. They were like the best on TV. And
Mhm.
then here, I think it was like 2002, if I'm not mistaken. He released a track called "Yeah Mama." That one, the Push the Tempo, that came on FIFA, the video game from PS2.
I can
So I only like the game because of the music. So I got like blown away.
that he
Like I
played
think
these
it was
tracks.
FIFA 2099, 2002. It was a FIFA game. I can't remember. That blew. I didn't even know that was like electronic music or even a made by computer.
Yeah.
I didn't even know. But seeing his support and the message that he sent me saying that it's a very emotional lyric, but this I can take the credits because who made the lyrics and the vocal was Jim and his girlfriend. So cheers to them.
Mhm.
But he's saying that the track was emotional and helped a lot of people coming through the COVID thing, and was like,
Exactly.
damn, bro.
It was relatable to basically the whole world. So and I
Exactly.
feel like, people at the end of the day,
Making party
yeah,
at their own place, and but let's
exactly.
isolate, let's keep the things
Exactly.
straight, let's keep washing our hands, this is not a joke.
Yeah,
uh
I remember listening to it with all when all those live streams were going on, because obviously that was the only thing that could take place. So
oh
many
God,
artists played that song. So that must have, been really rewarding for you.
exactly, it was rewarding seeing other people playing. But like I had a friend of mine from New Zealand sending me videos of Otosan.
Mhm.
Like one of them is there. They make some tracks with Martin Vorger as well. So they were playing Isolation there, and I was like sitting at home. I couldn't go out to see my friends. I couldn't go
Nothing.
out even to buy cigarettes or even a beer to the gas station. I couldn't buy anything.
Yeah.
You couldn't leave the house. Was We
Lockdown.
faced the biggest prison ever. It was
Yeah,
like the
definitely.
nearest we got to prison.
But
Was
luckily
horrible.
that song helped a lot of people get out of it, because they were just like you said, they were just
Exactly.
partying and raving at their house. So
Okay, that was a good thing actually.
yeah,
Hopefully I'll get the spot in heaven.
amazing. But yeah, so I guess stemming from that, obviously you've released a few more tracks, like especially in the past couple of months. My personal favorite is Think of Me. I love that song.
Thank
And
you.
also you just released Stay, correct, last weekend.
Yeah.
So yeah, can you tell us more about those tracks and like, like obviously hopefully with your next upcoming show somewhere you'll be able to play them. But yeah, we'd love to hear more about those tracks as
Okay.
well.
So the Stay one is made with my friend Hugo. He's Rolex, so he just lives near me, so he comes to
Okay.
me with
Okay, so
every
that's what
party.
that is. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he got the vocal, but the beat was too simple. But I said, okay, at least you find some good vocal. Let's make something like not following a full track because that's like completely copying. But okay, let's listen to this kind of vibe a couple times, melodic with vocal, and let's make it to the paper. Um, and that was it. Basically, I just sent to a prize. They really like it. The Think of Me, it was like I want to make something more mature,
Mhm.
shifting the style gradually
But yeah.
till next year, like less synthy, more groovy, more good
Mhm.
wave,
Yeah, no, it's a great
or
song.
more even something dark sometimes, but serious,
Yeah.
not something that you can see like the big goats here playing, like the big DJs playing in big festivals. So I want to go something for that.
Yeah. No,
Um,
I can totally see that. Like if you listen to the track, like that makes sense that you're saying that because it's a
yeah,
little
like
different than your other tracks, but it's still you can tell that it's you, it's your sound. So
yeah, that's
yeah.
what I'm afraid most because I want to try making some slightly different stuff, but keeping my brand, my sounding brand.
Mhm.
But I hear a lot of people doing different kind of tracks, and they sound from them because they have the samples, they have the mix down, they have the melodic taste. So I think it's just like natural. It's like evolution, um, and I think it will gather more people to like your stuff. Like then you'll have kind of more bipolar feelings. Like some people more like others. Some people ask you to play others.
That's it.
So
Yeah.
you have to keep balance. But I even try to make that. Sorry, when I'm playing, is I like to go a bit more melodic, happy, like I used to make,
Mhm.
then a bit more dark, hype, but
Yeah.
always keeping
Yeah, but
like
that's what makes it like a roller coaster, and that's what makes it
yeah,
exciting.
exactly the roller
Yeah.
coaster,
That's what makes
exactly
it
like having the full emotions there, and it always work. It's like I always like to go prepare with basically a set to every party I go, even is like a warm-up party, a small party.
Mhm.
I think, okay, at least I know these are fresh catch, like upcomings and all. So this will work, this will not. And the good thing of having like kind of gradually bigger and bigger parties is like I can really test my sound, like music that I made over the week. Okay, let's just give it a quick master to try it out. And generally, actually, I think it works.
Yeah, well, that's amazing. I think, from everything that you've shared with us, I feel like your story is absolutely incredible. And yeah, you're definitely on your way to, chasing your dreams and making them come true. And
Thank you.
yeah, we loved chatting with you. So thanks so much
Same,
for,
same. I
taking
really
the
enjoy
time
it.
out. I know it's late for you, like I mentioned.
No,
So
no, it's not late. I'm still gonna
we
jump on
really,
it.
yeah, we really appreciate it. But so we always do this thing at the end of our interviews. It's called our speed round. It's just kind of like random questions that just bear with me with this
Okay.
one. All right. So
Okay.
they're just random questions, but I feel
Okay,
like
absolutely.
it makes the interview interesting. If you
Awesome.
could save like 2 specific years from your studio, which would you choose? Like if you can only use 2 things, what would
The
you
the
choose?
computer and the monitor.
And the monitor. Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough. And then do you prefer intimate clubs or the big festival vibes when it comes to performing?
I think intimate clubs are better because I'm a bit shy, but I think it kind of backwashes because you're more near to people and you can hear whoo and
Yeah.
the whistles and all that stuff. So I
Yeah.
think both.
Both?
Yeah,
Okay.
both.
Okay, but if you had to choose one,
Let's say bigger festivals.
okay, the bigger ones. Okay, fair enough, fair enough. Do you, as this is just like personally speaking, are you more of like, do you prefer to go to like an underground type of show or like an actual like nightclub to see one of your favorite artists play?
It depends from the underground, because if it's like a good underground with good conditions, I like to go.
Yeah.
If it's not like the best underground, that vibe from the okay, I think I would rather to go to a good club and listen to a good artist, I think.
Okay, fair enough, fair enough. The next one is if you got booked, let's say Tomorrowland in Belgium or Ultra in Miami were on the same weekend. If you got booked for both but had to pick one, which one would you go to?
That's hard because my brother showed me the first time I saw Tomorrowland was my brother that showed me the levels from Avicii, and I was like, damn, good festival. But one time I burned myself on a firewood, and I got like 2 weeks in bed. So I was watching Ultra both weekends, and I was like, okay, this is a vibe. But Tomorrowland main stage,
just in general, just like the festival in itself.
I think Tomorrowland would be more representing Europe.
Yeah.
I think Ultra would be cooler, but I think Tomorrowland would be more wise.
Okay, good answer, good answer. And then this is just because I was looking at your Twitter, so this question came up, but hardstyle or drum and bass?
Drum and bass.
Okay, yeah, I figured
I'm not very active on Twitter, actually.
Oh, I know, but I did see, because, you know, we were just like trying to see your Twitter and everything, and I saw that you tweeted.
I don't like art style. I used to like art style. I used to like some art style tracks, but I think drum and bass is more hype for every genre, you know.
Especially after your New Zealand experience.
Oh, actually, that sparkled the flame a lot.
That's funny. And then the next one is, would you, if you had to either be without a phone or Wi-Fi in a tropical island all year, or have your phone and Wi-Fi, but be stuck indoors for a year, which one would you rather? That's a hard one.
I think I would be out. Where will you say it was outside?
It's like a tropical island, but like with
I would be in a tropical island. I think it would be good for me to having like
for a year
1 year off without talking to anyone. That is, I'm not saying that's too much at the moment, but I think it's just like a moment of clarity sometimes.
It's nice to have like your quiet alone time, you know, to kind of think, especially when you're an artist, like you need that time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Those breaks.
Yeah, I know those were some interesting questions, but we just love to do those at the end just to kind of spice things up a little.
That answer.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for having us.
Thank you for having me.
You know, send everything over to you once everything is published. But yeah, thank you so much for taking the time out to talk to us.
Thank you.
Bye. Have a good rest of your night.
Bye. Bye. You too. Bye.